What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and to the end of group stage video. Not only are we going to be having a look at who's qualified for the quarterfinals, but we've also taken some questions, suggestions from you guys that you've all answered. We're going to go through those, and we've also got some special guests to go through them with us as well. Let's do this. As promised, ladies and gentlemen, we've got our special guests with us. We've got James and Amy, everyone.
Hello.
How are we all doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah.
How are we enjoying the north?
Bit rainy.
Am
Bit
I
wet.
north?
Little bit wet.
Yeah.
I don't like the weather.
We've had a
No.
lovely day's shopping though, so we've been inside, so that's fine.
It's been amazing, but
Yeah.
for anyone who isn't kind of in the loop, we've got to know James and Amy very well through the Discord.
Some random strangers invited them up, travel 5 hours and
Yeah.
come stay with us, why not?
Why not?
So this is the power of video games, as I keep saying.
Power
but
of
yeah,
the Discord.
we've had an amazing couple of days so far. We did plan to do this yesterday, but unfortunately alcohol was a
Yeah.
priority.
So, it is somebody's 30th birthday. It was
Yeah.
yesterday. So Amy just turned 30 yesterday, so we had some celebrations and I kept ordering bottles of Prosecco, because why not?
Why not?
So yeah, little bits of hangovers stopped us. Well, it wasn't a hangover last night, like, was it? So that was a bit of a
Yeah.
that was a blonde moment. That, like, you know.
But yeah, we've had a great time
Yeah.
so far. Still a couple of days to go. Another couple of good videos to come as well.
Some specials to come.
We're going to look at the monthly review
Yeah.
tomorrow. Me and James are going to look at his list, which is going to be very, very
I'm
fun.
looking forward to it.
Definitely tune in for that one. I mean, before we do look at the groups and everything, we've talked about it plenty of times how we couldn't be involved, but
Yeah.
you guys were a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, how did you guys find it?
Amy was a legend and took over for me
Well,
when I couldn't.
Yeah. Obviously, because I've only just got into gaming, obviously didn't do as well as I hoped, but I managed to get 4 points and play Concrete Genie, which is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And that meant that she was then introduced, and it kind of pushed you out your comfort zone as well, didn't
Yeah.
it? So
Yeah.
Amy was in the middle playing Hogwarts. Like, I seen she didn't really want to stop, but then once you felt like, and I was saying, just get 4 points, like, that's all. I'm happy if you just get 4 points. I'd rather the 4 than nothing.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely fine, and push you out your comfort zone, and you play
Yeah.
Concrete Genie, and it's a beautiful game, and
Yeah, it was
you really
lovely.
loved it, didn't you?
I think it's a fantastic
Yeah.
game, but we won't talk about the VR trophies today.
No.
What about yourself? I know you've done 2 games in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've done Order 1886 and I managed to finish off Watch Dogs,
Yeah.
which is good.
Finally got that songs meet, was it?
Oh yeah, that one with the NPCs, which was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But,
It
yeah.
took me a long time. Obviously, we've spoke about it a lot, so I've had to put up with him on the headset. Kicking off about these missing songs.
So
but
what he's really saying is he was listening to a mirror version of himself.
Yeah, it was just bringing everything back basically from when I'd done it, because I was missing the song Dark Steering, and I was just doing laps of the pier for about 12 hours one day. Eventually got it, but yeah, it's such a Ubisoft doing these silly
And
things.
how happy were you, Amy, when he got it?
Oh, he was driving me insane. He was just
She knows how I feel.
Yes.
Literally just screaming at the TV constantly.
Finally got the black
Just
bit.
calm down.
It's what we do. Trophies are important. We do go a little bit crazy
Yeah.
sometimes. But yeah, because a lot more of you have answered the questions that have been put forward this time, I think we should sort of move on before we have too much
Yeah.
of a waffle.
We do get a bit carried away.
Yeah, I mean, before we get on with the questions, then I do want to have a little look at how the groups have ended. So for those of you who are not in the Discord and have been keeping up with everything, you can see who's made it. We've got a little bit of drama happen as well, so we're going to kind of go through that. It was a crazy last final day. Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness!
But yeah, it was very, very interesting. So yeah, let's bring up the groups. Okay, so the group stages then, as you'll see, Group A, first off. I mean, I probably should have said this at the start, but if you haven't watched, all the way through up to now, the draw, which we did on a live stream, and then we've got the kind of halfway point of the group stage. Definitely go and see that first. I should have, squeezed that in at the beginning. However,
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, rookie mistake. I'm not professional. I've never claimed to be. But yeah, Group A is still an absolute bloodbath, and it till the very, very
Smashing out
last
the park.
second. Griff, unbelievable. I don't know how he's done it.
Unbelievable, Griff.
Unbelievable, Griff. I don't know how he's managed to do it on his own. He was kind of feeling the pressure a little bit towards the end, and he did say he thinks he's kind of done. So I did drop Griff a little message, and I just said, if he did have something else in the locker, if he can just get himself over the line, we would look at giving him a new partner for the quarters. And the amazing Bex Raff has taken Tommy's place. So, yeah, how do you feel about that? You're back in?
Well, I was a bit gutted that I didn't get a chance to take part in the first place, so it's nice. And obviously, I've still got all of the things that I had prepared. I've had to think about a bit more because it's less time and whatever, but we've got something in the pipeline, haven't I? I've got a couple of games thinking ahead. And because I've been watching it, I kind of feel like I know that I've got to think ahead and getting the genre bonus and whatever, so... But no, I'm looking forward to it.
It should be good.
Yeah.
And, we know what Griff's capable of, absolutely, but it isn't fair that he has to... do it alone. So I think it's going to be pretty good. And this is where the drama comes in, ladies and gentlemen, because, quite an interesting one. It was kind of last minute. We did have a rule originally which suggested once you'd hit the genre bonus, so for those of you, again, who are not in the loop, once you'd completed effectively 3 different genres, we were giving bonus points away. That was something that had to be claimed, from yourself, because there was a lot for the kind of the mod team to look at and monitor as it was. So it was kind of down to you. Once you've hit those 3 games, let us know, and we'll have a quick look and approve it if it needs approving. Leon, because he's a sweaty tryhard and he's forgotten to do it. So because he was too busy sweating, more games, he's forgotten to ask. He's come forward and asked if he would still be kind of eligible for it. And this is kind of what makes it interesting. It was a hard decision to make because it was kind of the difference between him going through or not. If we give him the bonus, unfortunately Rob and Dragon would slip into 3rd. Or if we were going to be strict and harsh, which is what we said we would, do, it would meant that Leon would have went out when it wasn't really his fault. He's just been going through his games. So we took the decision to allow it, because he had completed the games. So yeah, it unfortunately pushed Rob out, but this is something that we're going to get to when we get further down the list, because Rob is back in the competition. And we'll go into
plot twist.
Yeah, plot twist. So yeah, that's Group A, as you can see. Massive shout outs to John Callum, who stepped in last minute for myself, who put in a great showing with Chris Raj, and Niraj, Nero and Spud getting a respectable 46 points as well. Now Group B, although it was looking exciting when we looked at our last update, it ended up being a bit of a bloodbath, exactly like Group A. Taylor was running away with it. And then out of nowhere, Jay Ninja, Exotic Shooter were coming out of the woodwork, and Safakot and Blaze as well. It did get really, really crazy. And as you can see, it was very, very tight for kind of 1st and 2nd place. At one stage, 1st, 2nd and 3rd were very, very close. But yeah, Group B, unbelievable showing.
Aiden Sam smashed it as well.
And again, if we, hats off to Aiden as well, who got 122 points just on his own. Zoltan Hurricane, we will let Zoltan off a little bit. He was playing Final Fantasy 16 for the majority of the month. It is a big juicy game, which we know, so yeah, that did unfortunately take up a lot of time, and it doesn't yield a lot of points. But yeah, great showing from all of you guys. Group C, so not as heavy scoring. We'll go with heavy scoring. That sounds better. Not as heavy scoring as the other 2 groups, but still very, very close.
High.
As you can see.
Sorry, the grammar's getting me. Carry on.
Same. But yeah, very, very tight group. Nonetheless, Pocket Monster Hunter and Cat Lord taking the W there. And then this is the kind of interesting part then with Rob. So Tyden and Aaron have got through. Aaron is in a position where he's not going to be able to game. He may or may not be having to get rid of his PS5, so it wouldn't be fair. A bit like Griff, it wouldn't be fair to go through not having an opponent. Now, before anyone does say it's a bit unfair, you know, Rob coming back in, especially with, you know, with someone like Tyden, who's also very, very skilled. I did put it out there for anyone who was in pot 3 and pot 4 who didn't qualify to send me a direct message, and I would put them into a draw and they would partner up with Tyden. Now, unfortunately, not one person got back to me, so which is fine. You know, it was a full month of playing games. You know, everyone was potentially a little bit burnt out. Absolutely respect that. But Rob did show the interest and say he'd be willing to step up, you know, give it another go. It shows a lot of character to me. So yeah, that's why Rob's back in. And yeah, I can't see, you know, wait to see what he does with it and you know, partnering up with Tyden. Yeah, very interesting partnership there. Unfortunately, we do lose Curtis Squirrel Ruler, Ali 333 and Bartek, and also Shaz and Richard Butler. But thank you very much for all of you guys taking part. And then Group D, again, another one that got a little bit interesting towards the end. It was quiet after the first half of the month, I would say. But we can see that Vigilant Crow and Cinder 8's coming out on top by 1 point. Ray and Black Phantom, a solid team, both getting a good amount of points there to get themselves through in second place. And then unfortunately Rylix and James missing out. What's going on, James? Why wasn't there more than 2 games done? Help your boy Alex. Too busy being a fraud.
It had to get in
just
there.
ran out, you know, not enough time in the day to play video games with work and everything. So.
Yeah, too busy searching for that song as well, wasn't it, on Watch Dogs?
Song friend.
Had to squeeze that one in. Yeah, ooh, can't find your last song friend.
Watch Dogs friend.
But yeah, unbelievable showing from everyone. You know, the top scorer going into the knockouts, you know, as we all expected, Griff with 212 points. Taylor Walsh, who's been my biggest surprise of the tournament. I mean, I've known Taylor since the beginning of the Discord. We were
back when.
You know, we got to know each other through another little community, and he was one of the first people in here. He was actually episode 1. Are you okay there?
Sorry, I just made myself laugh.
Taylor was actually episode 1 of the Trophy List reviews. So I'm well aware of his, you know, his ability. You know, he's popped in with a Wolf 2 plat, and he's done some amazing games. So I knew what he had in the locker, but at this rate, I didn't think that was possible.
That's why he's the GOAT.
That's why he's the GOAT. That's why he's MVP. And then Rob with 150 points. So
Rob, who said, I'm not going to really be able to play many games for this challenge.
Not play many games.
I'm really not going to do that well.
And then he sent the message, and he was like...
What did we say in that live video about how everyone would be like, yeah, I'm not really that good, I'm not going to do very much, and then just smash out the park? Rob did that.
Exactly. But that's kind of where we stand. I'll now bring up on screen the fixtures and what things are going to look like for the quarter-final. And we've got some unbelievable matchups. You know, a few of these could go, you know, either way, really. You know, look at that. You know, you've got Griffin Becky against Taylor and Cloud, which is going to be an exciting matchup. You know, Rushy Rocker and Leon up against J Ninja and Exotic Shooter. We've got Pocket Monster Hunter and Cat Lord against Ray and Black Phantom, and then Tarjan and Rob against Vigilant Crow and Cinder 8. So some unbelievable matchups. I think at this point, you know, anyone can win it. You know, I'm surprised anyone's got any games left, really, you know, to get points from what they've done in the groups. Absolute madness, really. But yeah, that's what we're looking like for the quarters. We will do another video in 10 days. Well, probably 11 days, so it'll be just after the quarters finish, just with who's gone through and where we stand with it. Because I'd like to do a few of these while the challenge, you know, is on, and then one after the semis, and then we'll do one final video. We'll do a full kind of recap. But yeah, that's everything from how the groups have finished, the quarters, you know, how we're set up moving forward. I think we move on to the questions. So to the challenge questions, everyone. So just before we get started with this, as already mentioned, we asked you guys for some questions, what you thought would be relevant for this. Myself and Rob chose 8 from the suggestions, and then myself and Rob come up with the additional 2. Just putting 10 questions out there for you guys to go through. So yeah, we've got more than last time, so I do really appreciate that. But I think that means we have to move on. As you know, we do with the monthly review. I think me and Becky will just take turns reading these out. Little bits of feedback from the legends behind me as we go. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading these. So we're getting ladies first.
If you would like.
Of course.
So it's you then.
Oh,
so Leon's
yes,
Leon's kicking off our challenge questions. So first question, are there any games you wish you started or completed earlier in the tournament? So maybe Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. I think I was in a bit of a slump because I realised Prototype would take up more time than I'd anticipated. I'm not familiar with either of those games, so I feel like you're going to have to fill me in on them at a later date.
Yeah.
2, how much and to what extent did you plan for the competition? Now, this was a big talking point beforehand, so it's going to be interesting to find the answers out to this. So I made a folder on my PS5, but just chucked in a bunch of random games I hadn't finished. Didn't really end up doing any in said folder though. It was a good idea. It was a good try.
Yeah.
I like the concept. 3, were those plans dropped when the things kicked off, or did you stick with that plan? Well, yes, I guess. My plan wasn't exactly there to begin with, but we were last for a few days, I'm pretty sure. I didn't want to do Vanquish as my second game, really. Thought I'd leave it as a backup game. What game did you regret starting? Prototype and Trek to Yomi. Not bad games, not really for me though, may chip away in the future. I feel like that's the thing, isn't it? I know how they work. Look. Ooh,
I know,
scroll!
I was thinking in my mind, do you think that was the last question? But ignore me.
I mean, I'm a teacher, I can count. They put 8 questions in, you and Rob put 2 in. 8 plus 2 is 10!
Are you sure?
You tell me. Number 5. How would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament group stages? It was good. It was nice getting to know Rushy and doing co-op games with him. Obviously, Group A has been a very difficult, though it has indeed. It was
absolutely brutal.
It was.
I'm so glad I was in Group A.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I wasn't involved.
6, did the challenge live up to the expectations? I think it has surpassed any expectations I had. That's nice. We were lucky to be put in such a competitive group, however, and I think it certainly pushed everyone who was active in our group to do their best. I agree. I think definitely everyone pushing and being racking up all those points makes others go, I should probably do something.
Yeah.
And
everyone was just pushing each other more and more all the time. It was insane.
Based on your performance in this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a higher, lower or same pot for the next World Cup? I'm just going to put it out there that it's upsetting me that it's half text talk and half not. And the punctuation's all over the shop. This wasn't me. If it was me, this would have been done properly.
Bit harsh.
Considering I wasn't originally in the draw, then higher has to be the answer, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely pot 1 for in a sweaty tryhard.
Number 8. Are there any teams you think have been a surprise package? Cloud and T Walsh, I agree with that one.
Yeah,
definitely.
Smashed it.
With the next tournament rumoured to be a 14 tournament ranging from pot 1 to 4, who out of this tournament, bearing in mind the pots, would you like on your team? I don't mind as long as they're participating and also don't mind being partnered with me.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will mind being with you now, Leon, after seeing the numbers you can put up. Unbelievable work, mate. Unbelievable.
For future tournaments, what templates, bonuses or other things would you like to see? 2 out of 10s to be eligible for points if possible.
Persona 5 Royale, for example,
is 120 hours and cannot get any points because it's only a 2 out of 10. I think it discourages games that are extremely long but not very difficult. I also think it'd be nice to be able to pick one game from our profiles that's at 25 to 60% complete already. Complete?
Already for stage.
Thank you. But only that one game for the stage. Not sure how much that would affect everything though. Sorry, get my mind around it now. You're allowed to play one game in that stage. That's between 25 to 60%. But the only one.
Yeah. No, I see it from both ways really. The whole idea with people not playing games that they're already so far through was setting stuff up ready for the knockouts. So you already know you're qualified. you just then set up a load of games, so just pop in the knockouts, and then the team you play in just cannot get back in the mix. So
what do you think about 2 out of 10s? Do you think you might have done a few more if it had been like a 2 out of 10 that you could knock out?
Yeah, because there were a few that I wanted to do.
Yeah, and some of them were unexpected 2 out of 10s as well, aren't they?
There's a couple that you were going to look at, like Hellblades, and your Sacrifices are 2, Bug Snatchers are 2. There was a couple like that where A Way Out's a 2.
Yeah, I wanted to do that.
And I feel like for you and I, that would have made it a bit more accessible.
Yeah.
If you agree with that.
We'll maybe have to look into that. I mean, one of the reasons we kind of steered away from it was that it would be so easy to just blast out very easy games. Well, there'll have to be some kind of rules, but next time
stipulations, of course.
Twos can be included,
but you don't get the extra point bonus. Or
I could have got more points than James if I'd have done 2 out of 10s.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I know. With Watch Dogs, I looked up the wrong guide and Rob corrected me.
Yeah, that's happened a couple of times. There's 2 different guides for Watch Dogs. One says it's a 4, and it's only
one was a 3, and then one Rob looked at was a 5.
Yeah, but one's only 40 hours, and one says 50 hours as well.
Oh, so that as well, yeah.
So you get the extra points, because I nearly called someone claimed for a 4 out of 10 or something with 50 hours. I was like, I don't know why you're looking, but I found it anyway. So moving on to hacks. Any games you wish you started completed early in the tournament. Pretty much any game. I lost a lot of motivation to play games that being close to a milestone. It made things tougher. But games I wish I did, probably just more games in general, to be honest, no specifics. How much and to what extent did you plan for the competition? I didn't plan at all. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick with that plan? Seeing as I didn't plan, I'd say I stuck with it. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Makes sense!
That's pretty fair hacks. What game did you regret starting? None, because I completed the 3 I did start during. I guess if I would have regret one of them, I'd say the Evil Within 2, as it was a little bland, but nothing really to complain about. How would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament group stages? I'd say quite well. Me and Philip have spoke often throughout the challenge about games and just life in general. It was nice. He encouraged me and I encouraged him and offered him a few tips and tricks for games he can do in the future outside of the challenge. That's nice, because that was also one of the original things, is I wanted to do it so that you would end up talking to someone you might have never spoke to ever. So yeah, a few friendships have been made through it, so I love to see it. Did the challenge live up to expectation? It was a good challenge, however the point system I think was way too complicated, too many bonuses and stuff, but aside from that it was good. I made the rules, but I agree with you as well. It was very kind of rushed. I was at work when I'd written the rules, so it was kind of, I was doing it as and when I could, and then often people were messaging me about things leading up to the start date, saying I'm not happy with this, can we do it this way? And I did do little tweaks, but we were very busy with a lot of different things.
And you always ran them by me first, didn't you? And if I sat and looked at him like, that absolutely makes no sense.
And in the end I was just kind of like, look, it's our first one, we're rolling with it, there's no more changes, and if things don't work out we learn from that. And I agree, maybe in the next one some of these bonuses maybe don't need to be included, or if they do, the genre bonus needs to be for something completely different. I mean, my original idea was that do a fighting game, a driving game, and an open world game. Don't do 3 different side scrollers that just have slight differences, but we ended up counting them, and people were putting one as a puzzle, one as an RPG, and one as something else. It's still a 2D side scroller, although there are some little differences. So next time we'll maybe look at it as being a bit more strict to kind of force people to play all the stuff. Did you guys answer these questions? Did you do anything? We might need to ask you a couple of them on the end, then just get you guys involved, of course. So
based on your
odds number 7, isn't it? Of course. Based on your performance this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a higher, lower, or same pot for the next World Cup? Definitely lower. I can complete the games, but at such slow pace because of changes in my mindset and enjoyment of games. I don't want someone to rely on me when I can deliver, when there's so many other amazing people who are more committed than me. And this was another really difficult thing, is the mods sat there and we went through all the names, and Hacks is someone who's done Super Meat Boy. You don't have many people who can do that game, so in our eyes straight away we were like, GOAT gamer, elite, he's going to be pot 1. If we're putting hacks somewhere lower, then people are going to be like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's, if like life sometimes gets in the way.
Well,
you've been looking after your fitness a lot lately as well, haven't you,
been
bud?
amazing.
Which is really good to see. So yeah, things come up.
And
so.
I mean, we're evidence of that with everything that's gone on with me.
Yeah.
And, like the fact we couldn't even get involved because of it.
Things
So
happen. Like Darth Boothie was originally in, Nex was originally in, and then people have had to come forward and say, real life, unfortunately,
we said it when we did the draw. Real life it always comes first.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Games are meant to be an enjoyment, and if you're not getting the enjoyment out of it, then we totally appreciate that, and that can definitely get taken into consideration for the next.
Yeah.
For the next one.
Absolutely. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? Definitely Leon's team. So yeah, Leon and Rushy. I always told him he underestimated himself, and I think he's proved he can do these games if he puts his mind to it. Nice. With the next tournament rumoured to be a 4-team tournament ranging from pot 1 to 4, how about this tournament, bearing in mind pots would you like on your team? I don't know if I should answer this, as you'll probably make sure we aren't on the same team. But personally, I'd like to be on a team with Ryan, Spud and Safakot, all people I consider good friends and nice people to talk to.
But that's not what the challenge is about.
Just get on with them all fairly well, games aside. So that would be my team. That would be a bit of a dream team as well. That would be nice. But yeah, we're kind of playing with either teams of 3 or 4. But it really depends on how many people are willing to enter. I mean, we've got over 200 people in the server, but we only managed to get 40 people interested, and even then some people didn't really bother.
Well, we had people with 0 points, so that obviously needs to be looked at in future.
If you guys want teams of 3, teams of 4,
gotta rally the team.
We need more people involved, or if it is the same number of people, you're gonna have less groups. But
sound the horn. Sorry.
Are you well?
No. Look at my foot. No.
Anyway, for future tournaments, what templates, bonuses or other things would you like to see? No bonuses really, and just to keep it simple. But if there are bonuses, maybe ones that are universal. An example being for 7 days as a genre bonus, so horror games get ×2 points or something. I did actually say this, but I think it was already at a point where the rules were too much, like you said. But I was, in my mind, I woke up one day, partway through the conference, and it was partway...
Came to me in a dream.
Yeah. I just had this epiphany.
I had a dream that horror games were worth 2 points. Double points. You bet you're regretting me doing this for you now.
No. You always make it more fun. But no, I did...
No, it's a really good idea,
in my mind, I was thinking, so for today only, why don't we, the first person to do something and send me a screenshot. It could have been something random, so I've got the idea from another channel. It's because it's Xbox, we don't have Xbox.
Shall remain nameless.
From Rooster Teeth, anyway, people will know them that way. They did a game called... Oh my, the name's gone. It was called Go, right? So it's a really good idea. So they actually had an office, PlayStation or Xboxes all around the room, and they were all set up. No game was installed, the game that they had the games installed, but I mean no game was in the console. And someone would go, first person to break a box in a video game. So then they'd all be like, what can I do? So they'd be going through the shelves, trying to find a game, and I was going to do that, and then it might be the next one was first person to do a barrel roll. So you could do it in a car or something.
The only thing with that one, though, with what you're specifically saying, is people all live in different parts of the world.
Yeah, and that was one of the things.
Whereas with that would be a good one. Yeah. Literally, you've got in this month, the first week, horror games there, double points. The second one, racing games there, double points.
Yeah.
And have a different, like you say, different genre for each. That would be a good idea.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that more than what I thought of. I just thought it would, just to throw a little thing in every day for something different for people to try and do.
If everyone was on the same continent and time zone and everything, it'd be alright, but yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome.
Good try.
Yeah, thank you for those hacks. Good try. Really? How patronising.
Blaze, are there any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier in the tournament? I kind of wish I did Ghost Runner, but there's still time for that. We'll update if I did it. I'm going to assume that you didn't.
Did you do it? Did you not? No, I'm assuming that you haven't edited it.
How much and what to what extent did you plan for the competition? A lot, like 50-something games. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick to the plan? Mostly, 50 games in 1 month is impossible, especially when half the time I couldn't even pick what to do from it, but you did like 11 of them. It's not bad. What game did you regret starting? Alex Kidd. I wish that the creator of that BS would stub his pinky toe on the edge of a bed.
Oh.
I'd like to know why, because you told me
brutal.
to play that game.
I don't know. I loved Alex the Kid when I was younger. It was pre-installed on the Master System. Yeah, I'm old.
Back in my day.
Back when the Master System was around, I could play Alex the Kid.
You holding the lantern there and didn't even have electricity. I had to light my candle.
This was my really big walking stick. But yeah, so Alex the Kid, it was groundbreaking at the time because there was a game that was inside of the Master System. I was like, where's the cartridge? I'm like, but yeah, so I thought it might be okay, but maybe a few people have said it's not the best. I don't know.
Yeah, so how would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament? I'm not sure about Safu, but for me, 8 out of 10. Did the challenge live up to expectations? Kinda. Really would have loved an explanation on that one, just so we can understand what we need to do.
Elaborate.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Based on your performance in the World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a higher, lower, or same pot? Don't want to sound cocky, but I think I should place higher. I don't think that makes you sound cocky.
Loving the confidence.
Yeah, definitely. And you know you the best.
Yeah.
Just as we just spoke about how with Hacks, wasn't it, said he felt like he needed to go lower.
Yeah.
Like, it's your own personal thoughts and experiences.
Yeah.
Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? Jane and Joan Exotic Shooter, they are actually putting up quite a fight. With the tournament room to be 14, who would you like? Ray or Safakot? Dragon Dance, Exotic Shooter, and putting himself in 4.
Nice.
In at 4, obviously. Oh no, I read that as the 4. No, ignore me. I'm wrong. But they're the 4. I like them. That is a pretty good
it'd be a good little
team.
squad.
The future tournaments. Did you want to say something else?
No.
The future tournaments, what templates, bonuses, other things would you like to see? I would like it if it was more difficulty based, and if there was an hour range for at least 15 hours to however long.
Okay. That's fair.
Something to think about.
Awesome. Right, Alex. So any games started or completed earlier in the tournament? Probably Hollow Knight, as I started way late, probably won't finish in time. How much and to what extent did you plan? Didn't think that far ahead. Did have Cuphead in mind, if anything. Yeah, it's a really difficult 2D side scroller. It's an 8 out of 10. It's one of the most difficult games I've done myself anyway. It's awful. Yeah, it literally sucked the entire soul out of me. Literally. You just heard sucked, didn't you? And your mind just went, woo.
You didn't know what word you wanted to say after it. Sucked my. Was where you stopped for a second.
Oh. The Curtis face.
The Curtis face. Where's the sound effect? Carry on.
I need one button my shirt first. So stand in front of the mirror.
Oh.
Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick with that plan? I had a list of games at the start, then wasn't sure what to go with later. Later half of the month?
With the later half.
With the later half of the month, yeah. What game did you regret starting? None, to be fair. How would you rate yours and your team's experience? I think I could have done better myself, but I know James was not in the draw at the start, so I wasn't really expecting us to go the distance. Didn't have a lot of faith in you. I wouldn't be happy about this.
Cheers, right? Thanks. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Mike.
He was just bigging you up not long ago as well, and now you've made him sad.
sad friend.
Oh, I love to hear it.
I don't.
I love to say it.
Yes.
Brilliant. Absolutely love that. Did the challenge live up to expectation? Yeah, I say so for most of it. Guess for the bonus points, there was too many to track. Yeah, agreed. It's definitely big feedback that we'll take on board. Based on your performance this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a higher, lower, or same pot? Had to say, but compared to other performances in the other groups, I would probably put myself down a pot for sure. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? Taylor and Cloud. With the next tournament rumoured to be for team tournament, what would you like on your team? It's quite a long question. We'll maybe shorten that for the purpose.
Who do you want on your team?
Who do you want on your team?
Who do you want?
Who do you want? But by going by pot, me, Taylor, Rob, Blaze. Personally, I would have Ray, Rob, Hack, Spud, Leon, Ray, Rob, Hack, Spud. How many? And you'd be on there as well. That'd be a six-man team. You're definitely going to win. As I speak to them often on chat, good set of lads. I wouldn't mind anyone as long as they're committed. Then it might push me to do better in future tournaments. And for future tournaments, templates, bonuses, other things you'd like to see, I think 2 out of 10 should be eligible first.
See, I know there's going to be controversy on that one, just for a heads up, because I know there are a couple of people who think the absolute opposite and that it should be put up. And it was so many hours. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say the only way we could work that in is if we move the rarity down. Because there's too many short, easy 2 out of 10 games that you could just blast out and build points upon. Whereas I think if you do it where we change the rarity to like 50%, because then you still got things like away outs included, isn't that 30% or something?
I think so, yeah.
So you can still work it from that, but you're not going to be able to boost loads of easy stuff. I don't know. I'm just kind of playing with it a little bit at the minute.
Ray the Wabbit.
Ray the Wabbit.
Wabbit. Are there any games we should start to complete it earlier? Probably Elden Ring, just to get that boost of points faster. How much and to what extent did you plan? Planned quite a bit, still have the list written down too. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick? Stuck to the plan, stuck with it for the first 3 games, then in real life stuff got in the way, unfortunately. And like we said, that's the most important thing in real life, so it is what it is and you need to do what you need to do. What game did you regret starting? Probably Titan Souls. The game's premise was interesting. It's a good amount of points, but the game is kind of bad in my opinion. How would you rate yours and your team's experience? 10 out of 10. Phantom has been a champ both in and out the challenge. I love that.
That's class.
Did the challenge live up to expectations? I would say so. Only thing that was unexpected was some folks not going off as much as I thought. Yes, I agree. There was a lot of controversy in who we thought was going to smash it and didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Those pot oneers not pulling out the bag. Based on your performance in the World Cup, where do you think you should be placed? Lower. Based on performance, lower, but that's too fickle, so I can respect being put in the same pot. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? Leon and Rushy is going to be the common answer, but I think Dragon and Rob have been giving Griff a war. Yes, definitely. They have. I mean, Griff's smashing it out on his own. But yeah, with the next tournament room to be 4, who would you want? Phantom again, Cat Lord and Rob. Obviously, the Wabbit and the Gato have got to be together.
Absolutely, the Gato.
For future tournaments, what things would you like to see in it? It's hard to say without knowing overall premise, I think. I do like the way this has gone.
Nice. Love that, Ray. Here he is, my boy Rob. Any games you wish you'd started, completed earlier in the tournament? I was going to do Ghost Runner this month, but with trying to keep up with the pace and not being able to get the DLC, I decided to leave it until I get the DLC when it's cheaper. How much and to what extent did you plan for the competition? Originally, I was only going to do what I had penciled into June anyway, which was Yakuza Like a Dragon and Fallout New Vegas after I'd done Final Fantasy 16. And I started a week later than the rest when I saw Dragon trying so hard and didn't want to let him down, so I did some research, did a list of over 30 games, and then started playing.
And how many of the 30 did you complete?
57.
Math.
What a goat.
You know, math is blowing my mind. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick with the plan? Yes, royally dropped, we know that. I've only just started Yakuza Like a Dragon, and that's 3 weeks later. What did you regret starting? New Super Lucky Tail. Hated doing that plat, just frustrated me a lot. How would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament group stages? Excellent, really, Dragon's done really well, and I try my best, but I've got burnt out now and lost a lot of motivation. I think I just did too many smaller games and needed a large game with a decent story to set me straight. Yeah, totally get that, bud. Did the challenge live up to expectations? Exceeded the group. I've been in has been so immense, and going up against a group of legends has been amazing, and seeing how others have pushed each other as well as encouragers, truly brilliant. Based on your performance, do you think you should be placed in higher or same pot for the next one? Seeing where I am on the top 10, I should be in pot 1. When deciding the pots, I was coming into the tournament knowing I'd be at least a week or longer behind with doing Final Fantasy 16, and I didn't expect to all get into the spirit of it, but next one definitely pot
Your
1.
competitive side came out.
He is right, though. I mean, I speak to Rob a lot, as you guys know, and he was genuine in the fact that Final Fantasy 16 was going to run on into the tournament, which it did, and then he didn't quite know how much he was going to play because of Yakuza, because of Fallout, and it just, that's why we put him towards pot 3, because, he wasn't expecting to do so much. Any teams you think that have been a surprise package? I'd say as a team would be Jane Ninja and Exotic Shooter, or Safu and Blaze. They've both done brilliantly, adding similar numbers and making Group B super competitive. And with the next tournament rumoured to be 14 tournament, who would you like on your team? I'm going to go with Griff, as I prefer to be with him and have not to go against him. As much fun as it's been. Taylor, as that guy's an absolute beast, and Raymundo would be my dream team. We're going off 1 to 4 candidates. Griff, Taylor, me, Bartek, my son. For future tournaments, other things you would like to see. I'd like to see the co-op bonuses again, and maybe a 4-team game bonus, stricter genre bonuses for sure. Yeah, which we've touched on, haven't we?
Sam, I'm really sorry. And I'm really sorry I never saw your message either. I wasn't ignoring you, I promise. Are there any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier? I wish I'd started Little Nightmares 2 sooner, but just purely for the fact it was such an amazing game. How much and to what extent did you plan? The only plan I really had was to not buy any new games and only play things from my backlog or earn from PS Extra, which is fair. Were the plans dropped or did you stick? He stuck to it. Didn't buy anything new.
Nice.
What game did you regret starting? I wouldn't say I regret starting it, but I think doing Danganronpa. Thanks. 2 was a poor choice. It's all of the ends. Poor choice points-wise. Lots of hours for not so many points, and that was a discussion we'd had quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like, there's some that are like 20 hours and there are 3. And then it was like 30 hours, 3. And you're like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
How would you rate yours and your team's experience? I had fun after seeing that it was unlikely I was going to progress further than the group stage. I decided to set myself a personal goal of getting 100 points, and I managed to beat it. And obviously, there's no hard feelings there though, because you took over literal last minute. Still were just new to gaming completely. So to even step in on my behalf was amazing.
Yeah.
And just throws you in the deep end.
Yeah. No, it was fine. I got points. I was happy.
You did, and you got to play an amazing game.
Yeah.
You got involved, introduced you to an amazing game.
Did the challenge live up to expectations? I would say yes. I had no idea what to expect, and it's nice to see that most people have been giving this tournament a good attempt. Based on your performance for the World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a higher, lower, or the same pot? Same pot, I think. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise? Jane Ninja and Exotic Shooter and Safu and Blaze really hammered out the points between them. With the next time rumoured to be 4-team, who would you like? Whoever wins this one, of course. No seriousness, I don't mind. For future tournaments, what templates, bonuses, etc. would you like to see? I'd like to see some sort of points for games without a platinum.
Okay, because there's some 100% games, isn't there, that are still difficult. That's fair. Yeah, something we can take on board. Richard Butler. Any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier in the tournament? I managed to get all the games done I'd planned, but wish I could have been a bit quicker to then fit more games in. How much and to what extent did you plan? I planned for 2 games and tried to do ones a bit harder to get a few more points. Though that method, as I know, I can't get more done as I'm slow. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick with the plan? I stuck with it and added in a quick extra game to get the genre bonus points, as they were easy big points. Fairs. A game you regret starting? None of them. I really enjoyed all 3 I did. Initially I regretted starting Ghost Runner as it was a steep learning curve, but I got through it. Very nice. I do need to do that one myself. How would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament group stages? I've enjoyed it. Whilst I've not been able to put big numbers up, I've really enjoyed seeing what people are doing and the chat around it. Being interesting to see who's going to get out of the groups. Did the challenge live up to the expectations? Yes, been a good event and keen to see how it ends. Based on your performance this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a higher, lower or same pot? Same pot, as I can't go lower. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? I didn't know what to expect, so most teams have surprised me. Yeah, everyone's absolutely smashed it. With the next tournament rumoured to be a 4-team tournament, who would you like on your team? I'd be happy to be with anyone as long as they were okay with my slow speed. And for future tournaments, other things that you would like to see. If bigger teams, then a big bonus for all members, getting the same court plat, bingo board bonus points, get a line and get big bonus points. I've heard that before.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
have you seen those before in other servers where they do like bingo boards and things? Yeah, it's a potential good idea. Yeah.
So would you do it like genre, as some of them? 3 out of, so you'd have like across, you might have 3 out of 10, horror game, can't think of another thing. 50 hours. And if you got all of them, you got a 3-point bonus.
You get like a line.
Yeah, that's what,
yeah, so. Alright. You're awful, you. Carry on.
Griff. Are there any games you wish you'd started or completed sooner? No, I just played games that I was feeling at the time. How much and to what extent did you plan? Only games I planned were Divinity, Original Sin and Elden Ring. Were those plans dropped when the things kicked off, or did you stick with it? Those were my first 2 plats of the challenge. What games did you regret starting? Crash 4 at the time when I was playing it, seeing everyone in Group A popping plats and pulling ahead on points, but now it's done, it's my proudest plat of the comp, so nothing. How would you rate yours and your team's experience? I would have enjoyed it more if I had someone else who was taking part with me, which we appreciate. We've spoken about, you've spoken to directly about it all. Did the challenge live up to expectations? Yes, I enjoyed seeing people push themselves to get more plats than usual this month. Based on your performance, where should you be? Same, unless I get knocked out in the group. I mean, you're still going to be pot 1, the absolute goat. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise? T. Walsh was the big surprise point scorer for me. Who would you like to be in your team? Anyone who was going to at least get some points. For future tournaments, what templates, bonuses or other things would you like to see? Put a minimum guide time of maybe 15 or 20 hours to stop the 1 to 2 hour-long games being...
That's OP. Overpowered.
Okay. Yeah. Genre bonus is also a bit too much in my opinion. Harder and longer games should be encouraged more.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's fair. Rushy, any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier in the tournament? I wish I started Back 4 Blood. It's meant to be a great game and had it in the backlog for ages. How much and to what extent did you plan? I planned for maybe about 6 games and I've only done 1, which was a clean up. Typical me, I know. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick with the plan? When I saw how much our group hit the ground running, I dropped all my games and focused on getting the most points I could. Yeah, we noticed. What game did you regret starting? I wouldn't say I regret any of them, but Wukong, even though his backlog was pure garbage. How would you rate yours and your team's experience? I think our experience has been good. We worked well as a team, and it's nice to get on with someone as well as I do. I probably may not have if it wasn't for the cup. Yeah, great thing again. Did the challenge live up to expectations? Definitely went over them. I didn't expect it to be this heated and pressured, but definitely good fun. Love that. And based on your performance for this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in the higher, lower or same pot for the next one? This is a hard call looking at others in pot 2, but some have also not had to push as hard in their groups. I think by the end of the cup I'd maybe a low pot 2 or top of pot 3. Debatable, Rushy. You smashed it. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? Griff has killed it being solo. He's so impressive and inspiring. Also, Taylor Walsh has been a machine. And with the next tournament rumoured to be a 4-team tournament, who would you like on your team? Again, tough one as my teammate wasn't in the pot. I'll rule him out, to be fair, as much as I'd love to be on his team again. Griff, me, Cat Lord. I don't know who was pot 4, so either Blaze or Cloud. And for future tournaments, what would you like to see? I think the removal of some of the genres, they're way too OP, and make it more beneficial to bash out tons of small games instead of play tougher games or longer games. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a theme here, isn't there, really, with that? It's, initially, as I say, the idea was for people to play completely different stuff, but we ended up being quite flexible with it earlier on in the groups, and then it would have been unfair to then start declining others, so we just kind of stuck, with it.
Exotic Shooter. Are there any games you wish you'd started completed early in the tournament? I wish I'd done Wipeout Omega. Dropped that from my plans when NAC took as long as it did. How much and to what extent did you plan? I made notes on my phone of listed games. I put a lot of thought into it, but again dropped my plans after NAC. So were the plans dropped? Original plan was dropped and pretty much winged it from the 7th of the month. What games did you regret starting? NAC. Spent so much time on it, but at least it's finished. How would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament? I rate it very highly and I'm very grateful I got paired with a legend, Jay Ninja. Did the challenge live up to expectations? Exceeded my expectations and believe it was a great idea. Based on your performance, you think you should be in the same pot? I think I've done better than originally thought, but I think I'm still a pot 3 player. Don't think I should be dropped to pot 4 because I think I'm quite active and give it a good go, and I've consistently got 5+ plats a month for about 4 months.
Nice.
So maybe we should be pot 2. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise? T Walsh, massive surprise to me. With the next tournament being a 4, who would you like? Griff, J Ninja, and Blaze.
Yeah, fairs.
For future tournaments, is there anything you'd like to see different? I really like what someone else suggested about having a specific genre for all to get double points for a week and then a different genre the next week. I do like that idea too.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? Vigilant Crow, any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier in the tournament? I'm pretty happy with the games I finished earlier in the tournament. There aren't any that I wished I had started instead. How much and to what extent did you plan? I went overboard with my planning, ended up writing a few scripts to update my group's PSN profiles throughout each day and set up alerts when another team got close to my score. Worst was I even gave up a few weeks of my run budget in order to buy a backlog of games. Oh, love it.
Wow.
That's brilliant. That's class. Well, those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick with that plan? Everything's going according to plan, and I'm about the same pot I wanted to be in when things started. I'm the same spot, sorry. And what game did you regret starting? I don't regret any of my games so far. How would you rate yours and your team's experience? I think we're doing great. Cinder's put enough points on the board to help me save my bigger point games for a later time. Couldn't ask for a better teammate.
Nice.
Awesome. Did the challenge live up to expectations? I think overall it has. People are having fun. Seems a few friendships have started to bud in the other teams, and the scoring within each group is quite close. Based on your performance this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a high, low or same pot for the next one? I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm torn between pot 1 because I'm in the low half of the top 10 scorers, and pot 2 because my points are primarily from easier games. Are there any teams you think have been a surprise package? Dragon Dance and Rob. I'm still trying to figure out how Rob, with so much on their plate, is able to stay in the top 3 scorers. Adding Dragon's great games, and it's a team to watch out for. Absolutely, they've both smashed it, and it's such a shame that although we've got Rob back in, that we've lost Dragon, because they've done really well. With the next tournament rumoured to be a 4-team tournament, who would you like to have on your team? So Hacks, Cat Lord, Jeff, Cinder. Nice.
Happy to see yourself.
Yeah, I'm finally getting a cheeky mention.
No one wanted the Jangus.
No one wants me.
I love the Jangus.
0 mentions. Obviously, I mean, that would make 5, so we'd have to, bin someone off to fit yourself in, Crow. But yeah, that would be a solid. I'd be happy with that team. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, teams mean more than just scoring. You need to be able to work together. I'm not the easiest guy to work with, but those four somehow keep putting up with me and my nonsense. And for future tournaments, what would you like to see? I'd be happy to see teamwork being the prime way to score bonus points. End of the day, these events are all about playing with our community. Really like that. Very well written, Crow. Thank you.
So we've had the web bit, and now we're on to the gâteau.
The gâteau.
Are there any games we should started or completed earlier? Maybe Descenders. I didn't realise that there were basically daily challenges which I might have been able to get it done in time. How much and to what extent did you plan? Didn't plan at all, just played what I wanted to. With the plans dropped, guess this doesn't apply to me. What games do you regret starting? Descenders, I guess. A game I finished I regret would maybe be Watch Dogs challenge-wise. Took 8 days.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah, Watch Dogs. Yeah.
Oh, Watch Dogs, friend.
Alright.
Love to say it.
How would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament group stage? Pretty much same answer as last time. I don't know what your answer was last time, so I don't know. Did the challenge live up to expectations? I'd say so, yeah. Based on your performance, do you think you should be in the same pot? I'd say pot 3 is pretty good for me. Are there any teams that you think will be in a surprise package? Ray and Black Phantom, I'd say. For the next tournament rumours would be 4. Who would you pick? Damn, what a hard question. I'd honestly be okay with mostly everyone in the server.
Nice.
Future tournaments, what 10 pot bonuses, etc. would you like to see? I'd like to see some sort of DLC bonus as 100% of myself. 4v4s would also be hella fun.
Yeah.
Also got the DLC.
Yeah.
Interesting. The Dragon. Any games you wish you'd started or completed early in the tournament? Probably Red Out. I played it a couple of days before the tournament was even announced. It would have been good points too. How much and to what extent did you plan? Kind of winged it. Only game I planned was Goat Simulator, as I've done it previously before. I knew it was quick and easy. Will those plans drop when things kicked off, or did you stick with that plan? Once I heard the genre bonus existed, I branched out to different genres besides just racing. Makes a change, yeah. I've really enjoyed seeing Dragon putting other games up where he's not just driving a car. It's been quite refreshing. What game do you regret starting? Might sound like a skill issue because it is, but I regret starting Avicii Invector. It's a really fun game, but I suck at rhythm games. How would you rate yours and your team's experience? I'd say 8.5 out of 10. Me and Rob have been coming up with ideas for games to plat, but we haven't played anything together just quite yet. And ultimately, it didn't go through. I would, looking at it from afar, I would say it was a 10. To go literally all the way, pushing Griff the entire time, it's got to be a 10 out of 10. He's a 10 out of 10 gamer. Yeah. So to keep up with him in an entire month. I know he was on his own, but still collectively as a team, that for me is a 10 out of 10 performance. Did the challenge live up to expectations? It's lived up to the expectations with Griff, Leon and Rushy Rocker always giving us a run for our money. Based on your performance this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a high, low or same pot for the next one? Same pot, I'm just middle of the road when it comes to trophy hunting. I'm neither competitive or a casual gamer. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? Griff, as always, the man is insane. You blink and he's got a new platinum. Yeah, he's absolutely crazy. I have no idea how he does it. With the next tournament rumoured to be a 4-team tournament, who would you like to see on your team? Griff, me, Rob and Nex. Fair. Like that. Keep saying me, but then because I'm saying it, I don't... Anyone just listening in the background.
You're just putting yourself in everyone.
Anyone who's not watching the screen or maybe just listening while they're washing the pots or doing something else like I do. When I'm doing the chores, you can't be listening to...
Doing the chores? You? You sure?
Really? Well, you don't do them, do you? You got me leg.
I haven't. Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Anyway. Yeah, so when I'm saying me, it's generally it's how it's written. So yeah, Griff, Dragon, Rob and Nex. And for future tournaments, what would you like to see? A bingo card would be cool to see. This will prevent people from prepping and can finish backlog games. If we do the same format again, I'd like to see non-plats count. It's such a shame games like Hitman 2, Resi 4 and Trials Fusion don't count with the current rules. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I like that.
Squirrel Ruler. Are there any games you wish you'd started, completed earlier? Not really. I had a bunch of games picked out and I've completed several of them. How much and to what extent did you plan? I created a list of games that would work and pick them based off the genre bonus. Where it was the plan dropped or did you stuck with it? What game did you regret starting? Didn't regret any of them. Alright, looking at me funny.
No,
How would you rate yours and your team's experience?
I like watching you.
Pretty good, it's been fun. Did the challenge live up to expectations? Yup. Based on your performance in this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in the same pot, higher, lower? Probably the same pot 3. I knocked out some games but wasn't a high scorer earner. Are there any teams that have been a surprise package? All the teams have done really well. With the tournament, rumoured to be 4 team, who would you like? Griff, lol, easy pick. But I don't really remember who were in each pot. For future games, what do you think they should look like? I'd like to see a team bonus where any game that multiple members of the team complete gets a bonus. I like the current co-op bonus, but I think it's too hard to do, especially for a team like mine, where I'm USA and my partner is UK. If we both were to play the same game, not necessarily co-op, getting a little bonus would be really nice.
Yeah, I can get that. So on to Bartek then. Are there any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier in the tournament? Yes, there were a lot of cool games to play, but it was hard to stick with others. How much and to what extent did you plan? I did a list with potential games to play and I used only one game off the list. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick with that plan? Sadly not. In week 2 to 3 of the month I wasn't at home. What game did you regret starting? Nothing, everything was for points. How would you rate yours and your team's experience? Team Alba had a lot of problems to have time for the tournament, plus the time zone wasn't handy at all. Did the challenge live up to expectations? I tried to have fun, but it only stressed me to not disappoint and get points. Based on your performance for this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a higher, lower or same pot for the next one? I already decided that this will be the only tournament I will do, only if we do a shorter tournament, maybe only one game, I don't know. Yeah, it is a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I do respect that. You know, you are taking, you know, potentially 2 months for some people, but yeah, a minimum of a month where someone is just, you know, sacrificing a lot of things from their real life to make sure they're getting these games done.
Yeah,
so
and I mean the next bit says it all.
Yeah, but I just want to play my speed and not speedrun everything for the points. I missed that a lot, just reading every message, looking at the beautiful world. I like that, that's class. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? I just looked at my performance without really thinking about thinking what others did. With the next tournament rumored to be a 4-team tournament, who would you like on your team? Team family, so Bartek, Rob, Ray and Onyx. And for future tournaments, what bonuses, things would you like to see? We should consider to look more at the team aspect, probably at the time zone are almost the same. It isn't really fair if one of the team is from Europe and the other is from USA, Canada. Maybe we could pair teams this way that everyone can play together. Yeah, that's fair. If we can try and work that in whilst the teams are still balanced, then I absolutely agree.
Taylor, any games that you started completed wish that you'd started completed earlier? I wish I started Resident Evil Village 8, as that's the last one of all the Resident games I own. How much and to what extent did you plan? I honestly planned 5 or 6 games max, thinking that would easily get me into the group stage. That's all you planned and yet you smashed it. Were the plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick to it? I didn't realise how quick I was going to get some of the plats within the weekend. I was halfway through my plans. Any games that you regretted? Patchy?
Yeah.
Just luck based. How would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament? Very consistent, and on Cloud is saving plat size his 100th is a certain game he wants to achieve that with. So he decided from the start that he wouldn't go mad as he's close to his 100th plat mark. Did it live up? Oh my goodness!
Did the challenge live up to expectations?
Definitely.
Rebecca?
Exceeded Group B. Exceeded expectation in Group B. Have gone full steam ahead and in the last week and a half. Based on your performance, do you think you should be in the same pot? Doesn't bother me what pot I would be in, to be fair, as I wouldn't be able to achieve some of the plats like others have within difficulty levels, so maybe pot 2 is perfect for me. Are there any games No. Are there any teams that you think have been Paulie had a bit of wine. Been a surprise package? I would say whole of Group B, I can't lie, went Wales. Thinking I had the job done, but how wrong I was and being pushed to the limit to competition has been healthy. With the next tournament rumored to be four.
Let's kick it in.
To be four. Who would you like your team?
The wine is kicked in.
Dream team: Griff, Rob, Leon, and whose was I reading? Taylor.
Wine's definitely kicked
Had one glass.
Oh dear me.
For
Right,
future
hurry up so
tournaments,
you can have a break.
shut up. For future tournaments,
in.
anything you would want to see, definitely co-op focused more, which is hard with when teammates live parts of connection can be awful at times.
Right, on to someone who can read.
James?
Definitely.
Are there any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier in the tournament? Not particularly. I mainly stuck to short games and played whatever genre I was feeling at the moment, so this wasn't much of an issue. How much and to what extent did you plan? My planning basically consisted of finding like a dozen games I could do. Like half the games I did were from that and the other half were found and improvised in the middle of the month. Lol. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off? Lol. Like half and half. Some of the games I did, some I held on to for the next round, assuming I make it, and some I dropped. What game do you regret starting? Would have to be Hot Wheels Unleashed. I wanted to have a nostalgic feeling, getting to drive whatever cool Hot Wheel I wanted. Instead I got pick the best car and complete these time trials. I'm not a fan of time trials. How would you rate yours and your team's experience? Sadly, we never got around to doing any of the co-op games we talked about, but I still personally had a good time. I may not be as skilled as a lot of the others, but I'm competitive, so it pushed me to win more trophies than I've ever gotten before. Did the challenge live up to expectations? Yeah, I think everyone in charge has done a phenomenal job. I've been in other kinds of competitions on Discord, and many of them have issues dealing with the growing pains and hiccups that happen when starting. Those are handled about as well as you can here, and I feel optimistic about the future World Cups. That's nice, thank you for that. Based on your performance this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a higher, lower or same pot? I was placed in pot 2. Honestly, I think I could be placed in 3. Now, you're a great gamer, Tad, and I'm not sure. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? I guess I have to go with J Ninja and Exotic Shooter. As of right now, they're the highest scoring team. It's I figured they'd be good, but didn't expect they'd be that good situation. And with the next tournament rumoured to be a 4-team tournament, who would you like on your team? Give me Leon, Black Phantom and Griff.
Definitely just not choosing the highest scorers from each pot.
For future tournaments, what would you like to see? Maybe a hot streak bonus, something like start and finish a game within 48 hours of finishing your previous one and 2 bonus points. Time and points could be changed, but basically towards someone for busting out games back to back. Interesting. I mean, these are certainly all things we're going to take on board. You know, we're all going to go through them. Tournaments are not going to be, you know, it's not like we're going to do a tournament every couple of months. These, you know, as we've said plenty of times, they take a lot out of you. So it's probably going to be, you know, maybe a 6-monthly thing. I mean, me and Rob had a small discussion that we might do something February or something like that, you know, and do it in another 6 months. By then, maybe the Discord has grown a little. We've got more people who can get involved, but yeah, it'll be a while. So we've got plenty of time to, you know, put it together properly this time and refine it.
Right, Black Phantom. Any games that you wish you'd started, completed earlier? Probably, I'd say Yakuza 4 should have been started earlier, so I can have better read on the situation of our group. But it played out pretty good in the end. How much and to what extent did you plan? My planning was done one day in advance, making a list of 31 potential games from 3 out of 10 all the way up to 8. Where the plans dropped, or did you stick to them? The plan kept rolling throughout the whole month. What games did you regret starting? None. I was going to play them all sooner or later. How would you rate yours and your team's experience? I believe me and Ray did pretty good, having a pretty relaxing approach since we weren't in any of the massacre groups A and B. Obviously, there's always room for improvement. On the flip side, it could always be way worse, so lucky us. Did the challenge live up to expectations? It absolutely has. I didn't expect this much competition, and above all, healthy competition. It was a good opportunity to witness what players can do while being in a higher gear. Based on your performance this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in the same one? I believe that going in a higher pot would mean I'd be in the same pot with some of the best players like Rob, which in my opinion would be in a way disrespectful. I believe I have a long way before considering of getting promoted to pot 2. Are there any teams that you have been a surprise? Jane Ninja, Exotic Shooter, Rushy and Leon. Absolute beasts, smashing everything in their paths. With the rumour of the next time being 4 team, who would you pick? I'd love to see in a team with my boy Flick, if he ever decides to join the next one. Otherwise, I'd say Rob, surely my Phantom Nemesis Leon, and my Wabbit Ray again. Future tournaments, what templates, bonuses, etc. would you like to see? Order pops give you -3 points.
You'd be in negative like 50 with you.
Auto pop friend.
Does 3 go up to 50?
I don't know, I'm just saying there's a lot of auto pops.
Maybe get
Auto pop friend.
maybe getting fast plats in a short time gives you some extra points or something. That would be cool. Getting a sequel back to back with the original game gives X amount of extra points. Playthrough setting guide give extra points. For example, X amount of playthroughs give X amount of extra points. In addition to the co-op bonus, an extra one would be getting 3 plats co-op with your buddy gives X amount of extra points.
Nice. So, J Ninja, any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier? I'd originally aimed to get Jurassic World Evolution 2 done, but ran out of time. A shame it was big point and I invested a lot of hours into it. How much and to what extent did you plan for the competition? I checked out a few games from my list and made a note of their difficulty guide, time and points value, but beyond that I just winged it. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick with the plan? I only used a few of the games from my list, but it was never a concrete plan anyways, more just a shorthand note of some games that could be useful. What game do you regret starting? Probably Jurassic World, just because of the reasons I said in question 1. Given I ran out of time to get it done in time, I could have used the time spent on other things. And how would you rate yours and your team's experience? So me and Exotic Shooter got along well and have made a great team. Our group has been really tough and the battle has gone down to the wire. Very finely poised, and any of the top 3 can finish anywhere still. Did the challenge live up to expectations? Exceeded it, to be honest. Wasn't expecting it to be as intense as it ended up being. It's been really fun. Clashing swords with some of the best. Based on...
Sorry, Karen.
Well, we all know, everyone in the room and on the internet knows what you...
I can't believe you didn't laugh at
I am,
that.
I just didn't want to say anything.
What you've taken from that. Hey, your like 12-year-old brain was just like clashing swords.
Finger blasting ghosts!
Oh dear. Based on your performance this World Cup, do you think you should be placed in a higher, lower or same pot for the next one? Same pot, pot 2. I'm not worthy of rubbing shoulders with pot 1 goats. So he's rubbing shoulders and clashing swords. What?
I'm dying.
Oh, damn. Love to hear it. Love to clash with it.
Have to clash it.
Have to rub it.
Should we?
Oh, what has happened? What has happened?
I blame the wine.
Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? Can I pick me an Exotic Shooter? You absolutely can do that. With the next tournament rumoured to be a 14 tournament, who would you like to bring in to your super dream team? Based on the challenge, Pot, Safficot, Exotic Shooter and Blaze. For future tournaments, what templates, bonuses or other things would you like to see? Less restrictions on the co-op bonus and stricter genre classifications would be nice to see. 1 and 2 out of 10 difficulty games included too. They could be maybe not worth any difficulty points, but still worth the ultra rare and time bonus points, etc. That way it will still prevent jumping kebab games. I'm surprised you haven't played that one at least.
Love your
If there
kebabs.
was one called
If it's a
Jumping
German
German
duck
should
kebab.
do it.
I love the food, but I'm not making the food jump just to get a plan.
The Jumping Palmer. Would you do that one?
Nah.
Oh. Kebab games, while still allowing games like Ace Attorney, etc. to be played, yeah. We're going to look at this and try and incorporate as much as we can.
So Phillips to Rhyme. Are there any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier? Would have loved to have finished up Bloodborne since it was sitting at around 2%, but it would have taken up most of my time. How much and to what extent did you plan? I planned on completing a bunch of games, but ended up completing a few. Were the plans dropped or did you stick to it? Partially stuck to the plan as it slowed down a bit due to some life problems I encountered which kind of weighed me down mentally. Ended up spending too much time than expected to platinum Wolfenstein at the New Order. What games did you regret starting? Non-X, enjoyed all the games I played. Funfest. How would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament? Awesome, it was a pleasure knowing Hacks, who was kind enough to suggest some cool games. An amazing legend he is. Did the challenge live up to expectations? It did actually. Adrenaline pumping and platinums popping every now and then was amazing. The point system probably should be narrowed down a bit, but it was such an amazing time. Based on your performance for the next World Cup, do you think you should be placing higher, lower, or the same? Definitely the same part or lower due to my gaming time schedule, which will be random at times. Are there any teams that you think have been a surprise package? Leon and J Ninja. With the next tournament room to be 4 people, who would you like? Myself, Safakar, or Exotic Shooter. That's not 4 people. I had to think there. I was like, am I reading this wrong? Yeah.
And question 10.
What would you like to see in future tournaments? All seems fine for now.
Sounds good. And then I believe John's is actually the final one. I'm sure from when I looked at it, it's the bottom one. So, are there any games you wish you'd started or completed earlier in the tournament? I would have loved to have done UFC 4 in the tournament. I did it in 23 hours gap, but it was the week before the tournament started. Silly me. How much and to what extent did you plan for the competition? I had a couple in mind, but mostly just played what I wanted to. Were those plans dropped when things kicked off, or did you stick with that plan? I stuck with it the whole time, really. I think bar Untitled Goose Game and Endling, which were still fantastic. And just to add, I think to give it some context, John's obviously started pushing his YouTube stuff.
Yes.
Which the videos are great, by the way, John. I've really enjoyed looking at them, and I like what you're doing with that. Keep it up. So to put the points on the board that he has while he's still been putting that quality out in his content, I think smashing as well. So props for that. What game did you regret starting? Tricky Towers. It's in fact too tricky for me.
Oh, it said it in the title.
How would you rate yours and your team's experience in the tournament group stages? Very good. We had one of the toughest groups, but still put out an impressive enough score. Did the challenge live up to expectations? For sure, it was a unique and great experience. Would love to take part again.
Sorry, I'm reading down.
Oh, why is my name there 3 times? Based on your performance this World Cup, do you think you should be placing a higher, lower or same pot for the next one? Not sure what pot I would have been in, but I'm going to say pot 3 or 4, probably based on this tournament. Are there any teams that you think have been the surprise package? Leon, J Ninja, and of course Solo Man himself, Griff. With the next tournament rumoured to be a 4-team tournament.
Has anyone got a pin?
No.
It's about to get really big. I'm trying to keep it down.
No. I mean, if he wants to lose badly, then that's fine. I mean, that would be that'd be a rubbish team, wouldn't it?
Right, 1 Jangus is enough. Don't need another 2.
Mini ones.
Yeah, mini ones eventually, but not 2 more of exactly you. Partly me, which makes them better.
Of course.
But yeah, that's great, and I would absolutely love pairing up with yourself, John. That'd be banging, and then we'll draft in a few other goats, and then we've got a dream team for the next one for sure. For future tournaments, what templates, bonuses, or other things would you like to see? I think some things could be changed next time to make a 3 out of 10, 25 plus hour worth doing over a 3 out of 10 2-hour game. Otherwise, it ends up being a lot of those shorter games played, maybe extra points per 5 hours or something. Yeah. Otherwise, I think there were a lot of positives with the point system. Yeah, agree with that. I think that's come up quite a few times, hasn't it? And like I said a few times, these are all things we're going to take on board. And then when the next tournament comes up, depending on how many people will kind of commit to it, you know, we can apply all of this hopefully.
What do you?
But yeah, I was going to say it's not
How
like
do you
school,
feel
you know, where,
for-
you sit, if you sit at the back and you
The
you're
naughty
quiet,
kids are at the back.
I won't ask you questions.
Do you feel like you would like to get involved in the next one?
Oh, definitely,
Yes.
yeah, I would love to.
And one of the reasons I was pushing you to get any points at all, or just the 4, is there'd been discussions about like if people weren't going to put points up, then there was a potential that they weren't going to get included in the next one, and I didn't want you not to be included if you wanted to, because obviously with you being brand new to gaming, how do you feel then about like moving into like another tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have an all-female team. Me, you and Nex.
Oh, interesting.
I like that.
So we've had people clashing swords, and now
McCann smashes it as well.
they've got the.
There's 4.
Let's do...
Who else have we got? Ice Gordy.
Yes,
Oh.
absolutely. We've got and then Vizey could jump in as well.
Vizey.
So,
Yes. Let's get an all-female team going, ladies.
yeah, let's do that. You want to add anything in? Are you definitely involved next time we do this?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. You're going to do more than 2 games, or stop being a fraud? Oh, guys, I can't wait.
Did you feel like though that you got held back a bit because you were doing Watch Dogs and you were a bit stuck, like because of that stupid trophy? Do you feel like you'd have maybe done a bit more if you weren't a bit stuck with Watch Dogs in that respect, or?
Yeah, I think it's mainly obviously Watch Dogs. I was obviously
Yeah.
focusing on that, and you know, obviously other work and everything. So
Yeah, and that is it. Obviously, we've always said in like real life comes first, and like
Of
we
course.
jest it we joke about it and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
but like just people joining in and putting the points up there, and I mean it's been an absolute bagging first World Cup, first Jangus World Cup,
It's a shame
and
we weren't involved from the beginning. You get to
Yeah.
have a bit of fun with it now.
Yeah.
But it's been amazing watching, you know, from afar. It has been.
it kind of
really
although
good.
although it was a bit rubbish that you didn't get to be involved, it actually ended up being better because you were able to like. Although like it was Rob and Ray that were
Rob,
that were
yeah,
putting
Rob
the
really
points
smashed
on,
it.
but you've been able to watch over it a bit, so you've been able to any questions that were needed, people could come to you and ask. Whereas I feel like if you were involved,
I'd have been try-harding and sweating the games like Leon, so
you're like, leave me alone! I'm trying to concentrate. I don't have time for your questions.
Yeah, I may have been a bit too distracted with
Yeah.
with all of that side of it, so it's probably been a good thing. But yeah, it's been absolutely banging. I can't wait to see what like the rest of it. You know, who ends up coming out on top. You know, I've got my sneaky suspicions of who I think's gonna get there.
But the points are already coming in.
I know.
They're starting
So obviously
already.
we recorded this late due to the legends coming up. We didn't quite get out on the first like we
All
planned.
the prosecco.
So it is obviously a
Someone's
day
birthday,
later. So yeah, we,
first,
too much prosecco. The plan was to record yesterday, but yeah, this one was a little late. But not to worry, we've got a couple of days of videos with the monthly, and then we get to rinse James for an hour or so.
And I'm off to go and start getting some points on the board.
So literally we're about to stop recording, and Griff, you'll be pleased to know that Becky's literally gonna move straight across to her PS5 and she's gonna get some points up on the board tonight for
I'm
you,
going to
bud.
try for you. I'm not saying I'm going to be amazing, but there's definitely going to be points for you.
Absolutely. But yeah, absolutely appreciate all of you guys getting involved. As always, I do want to thank all of my patrons as well as my
You're
channel.
welcome.
Wow. As well as the channel members as well. It really means a lot to me, guys. Everything you do goes a long way in improving everything. Why are you just laughing? Trying to be serious.
You're welcome.
What can I say except you're welcome. But yeah, it really, really means a lot, guys. Yeah, so just keep on smashing it. Keep doing what you're doing. You've absolutely killed it in every way possible.
And as always, if you haven't already, cheeky like and subscribe.
Yeah, all links in the description. You know the score. So yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And whatever you're doing, look after yourself, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.